What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be talking about ranked play in Call of Duty World War II, and more specifically, my disappointment with the ranked play system, so far at least, in this game. For those of you guys that don't know, ranked play launched last week, and the first season is now active. You can hop in and play, but in a lot of ways, they definitely missed the mark for the community here. And it was really disappointing because they hyped this up, they talked this up as if they were really caring, they were really listening, and they wanted it to be the best ranked experience possible. And I'm just seeing so many problems that are absolutely like basic fundamental problems with ranked play that shouldn't be there in its current state. Normally I don't like focusing on the negative, especially with my YouTube channel and my commentaries and stuff like that. But for me at least, I feel like I needed to get this off my chest and vent a little bit because the state that they launched ranked play in is just terrible. For those of you guys that haven't really checked it out yet and haven't really seen the issues that we're going to be talking about, first off, there are phantom losses that are happening, or wins that are actually counting as losses. And keep in mind, with the ranked play system, your rank is almost entirely based on wins. And when you have wins that are counting as losses, that's just unacceptable. It's like, what's the point in even playing? I can play, I can win the game, and I'm still going to get a loss for it. So why would I even want to grind these ranks when they're completely inaccurate and they mean absolutely nothing in their current state? This is probably my biggest issue right now. Like a bunch of the other issues I can kind of get past as long as they work it out and everything. But this one here is such a fundamental issue that just completely defeats the purpose of having a ranked play playlist. So that's clearly my number one issue, and it's absolutely unacceptable to be having this. I have been hearing reports that this is just a display issue where it shows up as a loss, but technically your MMR rank is still increasing as if you got the win, when you do in fact get the win. But either way, this issue shouldn't be present in the game. The second big issue with this is people leaving. Now, this is something that's kind of difficult to balance out. Yes, you can give punishment for people leaving, and they do, but it doesn't seem to be stopping people. The vast majority of the games that I've played in ranked play have been 3v4 or 2v4. I think I've only played a few games so far that have actually gone to completion 4-on-4. And that's something that needs to get worked out in some way. And I realize a lot of that isn't necessarily on the developer's end, that's on the player's end, because even with a harsh punishment, people are going to leave no matter what. I hope they can do something more in this area to solve that issue, because it's just another one of those things where it's like, what's the point of even playing when I have no say in how the game turns out? It all just comes down to who leaves first, somebody on their team or somebody on my team. One great idea that's been floated around in the community, and I've actually mentioned this many years ago with the ranked play system with people that leave, is if you have a teammate that leaves, there should be an option for you to just vote to forfeit. At least that would save everybody's time. So if you have a teammate that leaves right at the beginning of the game, instead of you wasting your time playing that game, knowing full well that you really don't stand a chance because it's 3v4 in a competitive environment, or instead of you leaving as well and then now getting a probation, even though it's not really your fault because somebody else left first and you don't want to waste your time on that, why not bring up an option to forfeit for that team who had a player leave? If the majority votes to forfeit, then the game should be forfeited. So that means if one player leaves, that means two of the players on that team can vote to forfeit. The winning team would still be awarded a win, although depending on how far into the game when you forfeit, I think that should affect how much they're rewarded for it, because obviously they didn't really have to work hard for a win if somebody on the enemy team leaves right before the game even starts and then they immediately forfeit. They don't deserve full points for a win in that scenario, in my opinion at least. But if it's towards the end of the game, then absolutely they should deserve the full reward for that win. And for the team that forfeits, perhaps be a little bit easier on them when it comes to punishing them for their MMR rank. I still feel there would need to be a slight punishment for this, even though I know it doesn't seem fair because it's not really your fault that your teammate left and you have to forfeit. But if you don't have any sort of punishment, then this system could be gamed a little bit, because somebody could wait right to the end of the game and he could just kind of take one for the team and back out and get the punishment while ensuring that his teammates don't get punished at all, and that wouldn't really make any sense. So I think a system like that would make it a bit easier at least to deal with people leaving games. It wouldn't solve the issue of people leaving the games, but it would make it a lot easier to swallow, and it would make for a lot more time spent in full 4v4 games rather than just having to play out a 3v4 game knowing full well you're going to lose. Moving on to the next big issue I have with ranked play currently, this is the fact that your ranked play stats count towards your public match stats. This makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This changes the way people play the game because people are worried about their public match kill death ratio going down by playing ranked play or something, and that'll cause them to play a little bit less objectively oriented. Or it'll just in general turn people away from playing ranked play when we want to get as many people playing as possible and get a good player base on there. There's a lot of people that really care about their stats, and they don't want to ruin them, so why would they go and play ranked play? They'll just stick to public matches. Whereas if those stats are separate, or you just don't have a kill death ratio stat whatsoever for ranked play, which I think would be ideal, I feel it would encourage more desirable playstyles within a competitive environment, and also it wouldn't discourage people that care about their stats in public matches from coming over and trying ranked play. And this is another one of those things where it's like, how did this make it into the full build of the game? This is something that should have been decided and solved literally months ago. It's one of the most basic aspects of ranked play, and it makes absolutely no sense that it's in the game currently the way it is. So for ranked play, Sledgehammer really needs to either separate ranked play stats from public match stats, or better yet, in my opinion at least, just completely eliminate any sort of stats for ranked play aside from wins and losses. This area should be 100% focused on just winning the game, whatever it takes, no matter what. As for the next thing on my list, admittedly this one is a little bit smaller, but it's still something where it's like, why is this the case? We don't earn any XP whatsoever when playing ranked play. Now I get that ranked play isn't supposed to be completely tied to public matches, even though having the stats crossover suggests otherwise, but I feel like people still want to rank up in the game, they still want to be earning stuff and everything, and this is just another one of those things where players that may be considering hopping into ranked play will look at it and go, wait a minute, you mean I can't level up and rank up my character while doing that? I'm not going to waste my time with that. I'd rather be playing public matches where I can actually continue ranking up and grinding my character. So in my mind, this is something where they could be using XP as a major incentive for people to be staying in the game. This kind of goes back to the first thing I talked about in this video. Why not make it, instead of having a standard XP progression where you get like a set amount of XP per kill or per objective capture or whatever it might be, why not just make XP purely based on wins and losses? If we win a game, give us something like 10,000 XP, just a flat 10,000 XP for everybody that won the game. No other XP awarded throughout the game, that's totally fine. It's just for if you win the game. And then if you lose the game, give us a consolation prize of like 3,000 XP. That will hopefully at least encourage people to stay till the end of the game. If you leave midway through, you get absolutely nothing. Why not have a system like this? It will allow us to still progress our character, and for those people that care about ranking up their character when they play, they don't feel like they're wasting their time by playing ranked play. They're still able to rank up the character in the background, and it will strongly encourage people to try and win the game, and also just in general to stay in the games. So finally, one more thing I wanted to mention in this video is the fact that it is currently available for solo players only in ranked play. Now I am confident that this is just for Season 1, it's just the solo players in Season 1 for people to like kind of get in and get a feel for ranked and everything. I'm sure in the future there will be opportunities for teams to play together. And this actually kind of got me thinking, part of me likes the fact that it's a solo playlist because as a solo player myself, I feel pretty confident hopping on there. And the team balancing algorithm is going to balance things out and parties aren't going to throw anything off with that. So getting into each game, I feel relatively confident that we're going into a somewhat fair match. Whereas if you allow parties in the mix, if I pop in as a solo player, I'm pretty confident I'm going to lose pretty much every one of my matches, unless there's a party of 3 and I happen to be the lucky solo player that ends up on their team. So this kind of got me thinking, it would be really nice if they did a team playlist as well as a solo playlist, or maybe like solo/duos playlist for ranked play. I think that would work out great for a lot of the solo players, maybe the people that are a bit more casual and they want to just hop in and see what it's like. Then they don't get stomped on by parties all the time. They can get in there, get a relatively balanced match as far as teams go. And like I said, as long as the population can handle it, I think that would be excellent to see. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's video on my initial impressions of the ranked playlist in CoD World War II. In general, I'm quite disappointed that they missed the mark on some absolutely basic fundamental things with ranked play. I hope to see some improvements with this in the future, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'd like to know in the comment section below, have you guys tried ranked play out yet? And if so, what are your initial impressions? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.